Good morning, students. You know that we are discussing our history's fourth lesson, colonialism and the Marathas. Here, specially, we are talking about the great warriors of Maharashtra, which were known as the Marathas, and their history. In this chapter, we are discussing their relationship with the Europeans. In the last point, we had started to discuss the relation between Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and British. Some points we had already discussed. In the last point, we had discussed Henry Oxendade, who was the British agent. He was present in the coronation ceremony of Shivaji Maharaj, and that time he got permission from Shivaji Maharaj to open British factory at Rajapur. In the agreement, some terms and conditions were included. We discuss about that. Now we are going to move to the next point. Here we are going to talk about Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj and some of the Peshwas and their relationship with the British. After Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, Nana Sahib Peshwa, he took charge of administration. The British could ensure their entry in the political affairs of Marathas as Nana Sahib. He on one occasion took help from the British. Nana Sahib Peshwa was succeeded by his second son Madhavrao Peshwa. Nana Sahib's younger brother Raghunath Rao, he wanted to become the Peshwa. Raghunath Rao, actually this is the false name. His true name is Raghoba, and he took help from the British. And it resulted in appointing a British messenger in Peshwa's court in Pune. In 1765, the British took over the fort at Malvan. After the death of Madhavrao Peshwa, his younger brother Narayan Rao became Peshwa. And in his reign, the British tried to conquer Thane, Vasai, Vijayadurga and Ratnagiri parts of India. In North India, the Mughal emperor was under the protection of Shinde Holkars. By this time, the British had become active to get the custody of the Mughals emperor and to reduce the power of Bhosle dynasty of Nagpur in Bengal. Now it was very important for the British if they wanted to do trading. So they wanted to bring the region from Sashti, Vasai to Konkan under their sway. So they were already planning and moving in that direction. They already started to work according to that directions. Raghunath Rao Peshwa was offered protection by the British. The British army marched from Mumbai to Pune with Raghunath Rao Peshwa in their group. The British army and the Maratha army met at Talegaon, Vadgaon near Pune and had a combat between them. The British army was defeated by the Marathas. The treaty was signed, which was known as Vadgaon Treaty. Now here student, I want to tell you the brief information about the Vadgaon Treaty, the Battle of Vadgaon. This battle was fought between the Maratha Empire and the British East India Company near Vadgaon, which is near to Pune in Maharashtra, and it was the part of the First Anglo-Maratha War. The port of Bombay, which is known as Mumbai, had been under British rule since 1600. Towards the second half of the 18th century, with the rise of the Maratha Empire, the British felt the need to secure the port and taking control of the supply routes to it, from Vasai to the north and from Pune to the east, both of which were the part of Maratha Empire. Also, the Marathas had started negotiations with the French, which was alarming for the British. With this objective, on 6 March 1775, the British entered into the Treaty of Surat with Raghunath Rao, who was a claimant to the Peshwa throne. As per the treaty, Raghunath Rao would be installed as Peshwa and in return would cede Vasai fort to the British. The British began to withdraw from Talegaon in the middle of the night, but the Marathas attacked, forcing them to halt in the village of Vadgaon, where the British force was surrounded on 12 January 1779. By the end of the next day, the British were ready to discuss surrender terms and on 16 January signed the Treaty of Vadgaon, the terms of which forced the Bombay government to give up all territories acquired by Bombay Office of East India Company since 1773. The halting of a British force marching towards Pune from Bengal and share of revenues from the district of Broch. So this was known as the Vadgaon Treaty. Later, the Nana Fadnvis formed an alliance of four rulers, namely Peshwa, Bhosle of Nagpur, Nizam and Hyder. However, the British successfully persuaded the Nizam to break the alliance. All through these happenings, the British governor Warren Hastings had realized that if the British had to establish their permanent rule in India, it was crucial to subdue the Marathas. In the Battle of Kharda, which is the Taluka Jamkhed, which is in district of Ahmednagar, the Maratha army had sweeping victory over the Nizam. The British messenger who was present in the Maratha camp could minutely observe and study the military tactics of the Marathas. Later, with the help of this messenger, Lord Wellesley could defeat the Marathas. Now student, one more treaty is very important between the relationship of British and the Maratha Empire, and that was Treaty of Bassein. It was also known as Vasai. So this treaty, it was a pact signed on 31st December 1802 between the British East India Company and Bajirao II, the Maratha Peshwa of Pune, in India after the Battle of Pune. The treaty was a decisive step in the dissolution of the Maratha Empire, which led to the East India Company's appropriation of empire's territory in Western India in 1880. On 13 May 1803, Bajirao too was restored as Peshwa under the protection of East India Company. And the leading Maratha state had thus become a client of the British. The treaty led to expansion of the sway and influence of the East India Company over the Indian subcontinent. However, the treaty was not acceptable to all Marathas and resulted in the Second Anglo-Maratha War. Now next main point is there, which is Anglo-Maratha War. So what is this Anglo-Maratha War? This was where the three wars fought in the Indian subcontinent between the Maratha Empire and the British East India Company over territory. First Anglo-Maratha War between 1775 to 1782. Second Anglo-Maratha War between the 1803 to 1805. And the Third Anglo-Maratha War, which was also known as the Pindari War, 1817 to 1880. Now suppose if we talk about the first Anglo-Maratha War, so it was the first of three Anglo-Maratha wars fought between the British East India Company and the Maratha Empire in India. The war began with the Treaty of Surat and ended with the Treaty of Salwai. The brief information, it is not included in our text, so no need to go in deep. Only the years are mentioned, so that only we are going to discuss. Now if we talk about the second Anglo-Maratha War, so it is fought between the 1803 to 1805, actually it's not 6, was the second conflict between the British East India Company and the Maratha Empire in India. And the third Anglo-Maratha War, which was fought during 1817 to 1880, was the final and decisive conflict between the British East India Company and the Maratha Empire in India. The war left the company in control of most of India. The Maratha Empire, which was founded actually in 1674 by the great Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj of the Bhosle dynasty. Common elements among the citizens of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maratha Empire were the Marathi language, the Hindu religion, a strong sense of belonging, and a national feeling. Shivaji Maharaj led resistance efforts to free the Hindus from the Mughals and Muslim Sultanate of Bijapur and establish rule of the Hindus. The kingdom was known as the Hindvi Swaraj, means Hindu self-rule in Marathi language. Shivaji Maharaj capital was located at Raigad. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj successfully defended his empire from attacks by the Mughal empires, and his Maratha empire went on to defeat and overtake it as the premier power in India within few decades. A key component of the Maratha administration was the counseling of 8 ministers, which were called as Ashtapradhan. The senior most member of the Ashtapradhan was called the Peshwa of Mukhya Pradhan, which was also known as Prime Minister. So the question is that why this war happened. Okay, so if we talk about that, so the British had traveled thousands of miles to arrive in India, and they studied Indian geography and they mastered local languages to deal with the Indians. At the time, they were technologically advanced than India, with the superior equipments in several critical areas to that available locally. Chabra hypnotizes that even if the British technical superiority were discounted, they would have won the war because of the discipline and organization in their ranks. After the First Anglo-Maratha War, Warren Hastings declared in 1783 that the peace established with the Marathas was on such a firm ground that it was not going to be shaken for years to come. The British believed that a new permanent approach was needed to establish and maintain continuous contact with the Peshwa's court in Pune. The British appointed their senior merchant from Bombay to be a permanent resident at Pune because of his knowledge of the language and customs of the region. And if we talk about the effects of end of this war, so at the end of the war all the Maratha powers had surrendered to the British. Shinde and the Afghans Amir Khan were subdued by use of the diplomacy and pressure, which resulted in the Treaty of Gwalior on November 5th, 1817. So under this treaty, the Shinde surrendered Rajasthan to the British and agreed to help them fight the Pindaris. Amir Khan agreed to sell his guns to the British and received a land grant at Tonk in Rajputana. Holkar was defeated in the year 1817 and signed the Treaty of Mandeshwar. In 1880, under this treaty, the Holkar state became subsidiary to the British. The young Mallar Rao was raised to throne. Bhosle was defeated on 26 November 1817 and was captured, but he escaped to live out his life in Jodhpur. The Peshwa surrendered on 3rd June 1880 and was sent off to Bithur near Kanpur under the terms of the treaty signed on 3rd June 1880. Of the Pindari leaders, Karim Khan surrendered in February 1880. Wasim Muhammad surrendered to Shinde and eventually poisoned himself, and Setu was killed by a tiger. So in short, we can say that Maratha defeated by British in this Anglo-Indian War. And if we talk about the reasons, so we can say there was a lack of unity among the Maratha chiefs themselves. There was a lack of good relationship with other Indian princes and the ruling dynasties. There was the failure to understand the British political and the diplomatic strength also. So in the end, the Maratha power was destroyed and the British supremacy established. So student, here you don't have to go in deep for the Anglo-Maratha War, first, second and third. Only we have the reference for that. In detail, we have Treaty of Vasai as well as Treaty of Vadgaon while we learn the relationship between the British and the Maratha. Okay, so don't worry for the Anglo-Maratha War and their background. Only you have to keep remember that the Marathas, they were defeated by the British and they just established their supremacy over India. Okay, so here we are going to stop because here we have finished with our another point, which is British and the Maratha Empire. In the next lecture, only the 2 points are remaining from this lesson, that is Siddhi and Maratha Empire as well as Afghans and Maratha Empire. So in the next lecture we are going to continue with that. Till that date, if you have any query, any doubt, you can drop that in your comment box. And don't forget to watch the link I am going to give you after my lecture for Anglo-Maratha War. Okay, so just go through the video, check the video link. and we'll stop here. Thank you.